Hey friends, I hope you all are thriving and not just surviving. If you don't know me or if you're new to my group, my name is Quintero. I'm a teacher by day and an author by night. There's some of my books way back there in the corner. They're hiding. They're judging me while I'm doing this video. So I wanted to talk about the importance of self-care. So I did like a Instagram live, and I'm going to have to talk to the pro, Kia, on how to get that Instagram live to Facebook. So I don't have to do a second video. But I kind of want to because I feel like with Instagram, I feel like people here when I post a video, like if you have time to watch it, and it's something that's pertinent to you. But on Instagram, it's kind of weird and it's kind of distracting because you have like all these people who are just like coming in and leaving out. And I'm just like, I don't know what they're hearing. And I feel the need to like repeat certain things. So like with Facebook, doing a video on Facebook is better because I'm just like, okay, I can just, if you're going to be here from beginning to end or whatever, like you're going to get the whole message. So, but I wanted to talk about why self-care is mandatory. And, if you've been following my little posts here and there, you know that I was very happy that I took off Friday. Last week, this past Friday, I took off and I had a school function later that day. And I did go to that school function. And then I had to work the next day. But prior to that, I had just had a very difficult week. And something that I realized is that like as teachers, we're working a full-time job and a part-time job. Because when you're at school and you're teaching, you're on your feet probably, I think we have to work it's 6.25 hours. But I'm normally on my feet for most of that time and I'm like teaching. Now, there are times that I have strategically in my class, if you follow any of my blog posts, I'm always talking about preserving your energy. And I do have times where I sit down, where I grade, I can take a break. But even doing that, I'm still working, right? I'm just not on my feet. I'm not teaching. I'm just in my seat, kind of taking a break and doing some work. So that's like the full-time job aspect. The part-time job is like the planning, the grading, the assessment, the assessing. And as much as I try to integrate, those things into like my day, the reality is, I do bits and pieces, I try as hard as possible, but it is really hard. It is because we have a lot of us serve populations that just students in general, no matter where you work, there's just a lot of need, and a lot of the kids nowadays, they're a little bit more anxious. I know there's books about this because of the social media. So even if I give students an assignment, like back in the day when I was in school, the teachers, they will put our assignment on the board. We read the instructions and do it. Nowadays, the kids come up, they want like 5 or 6 confirmation of like these are directions, or they don't read the directions. So, you're still being pulled in, and my point is just that a lot of times when you're in a classroom, even if you try to add a little bit of grading, add a little bit of planning so you don't have to do it after school, you get only a minimum done, and that has been my experience. Honestly, there have been days where I've gotten more. I'm learning how to design my lessons a little bit more strategically because some of the things that I used to do with this set of students I have this year is just not working. But that said, last week I had all of that going on, and then I had, things that I was doing after school. So I got to Thursday and I was like, I can't come in tomorrow. It was like, I didn't even have to think about it. Like my body was like, you cannot come back to this school tomorrow. So first thing that I want to talk about, and I want to empower you all, because a lot of times, we know probably 80%, maybe 90% of the teaching profession consists of women. And a lot of time women, we feel guilty about taking time off. So I want to empower you now. I want to give you that permission. Take time off. Okay. Take the time off. I have heard personally, my friend just passed away. She was a teacher. She was on her way to work. Okay. She passed away. I know so many teachers throughout the years, because of the stress, because of everything, and us not paying attention to the signs. And that is why I am just very passionate about that. So don't feel guilty. And when you take off, if you can, just don't do anything. Just stay at home. Maybe plan it. If you have kids, you're married, you have kids, or you're a single mom, plan it a day that the kids are going to be in school. That if you have a husband who works from home remotely, he's not going to be there. Okay. just so you can have the day to yourself and do absolutely nothing. So I did take off Friday. I did end up going up to the school function only because the parent bought the tickets and the tickets were very expensive. So went to the school function, went to work yesterday, Saturday. And even though I took off Friday, I was still tired, y'all. So I could not imagine actually working, a full week through. And then I was kind of reflecting on the last few weeks, and I was like, I really hadn't had a break since spring break. It was like spring break, then it was mitten, and then Easter I actually went to a PD, not Easter, but that Friday I went to like a PD. So I have not had a break. So that's number one. Number two, don't try to plan the most awesome set of lesson plans. Be basic, y'all. Because a lot of us, we're already up here when it comes to teaching. We're master teachers. We know how to do things. It's okay. You don't have to pull out your A game for your lesson plans, When I was on Instagram Live, someone said, I think it was Diana. It was Diana. Diana said that, the students can make up assignments. I think that's perfect. Hey, make up assignments. If you have, we have every teacher in our school, we have textbooks. And the textbooks are dated because we used to use them a long time ago. However, there are some nice little readings in those textbooks. And the days when I'm out, I'm like, you know what? That's what we're going to do. You're going to pull out the textbooks and you guys are going to read this and you're going to answer the question. So again, sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with the unit. I call it enrichment, and something that I am going to do or be a little bit more strategic about next year is doing those enrichment activities while I'm teaching, so that when I'm not there, the kids are not like, oh, we never use a textbook, but today we got to use a textbook. So I'm just going to, maybe once a month, twice a month, just have them do a little enrichment exercise so they get in the habit of doing it. And so that when I am not there, that is kind of what they're going to do. And, there may be a question of like, well, why can't they just continue with the lesson that you're doing? A lot of times I kind of need to be there to facilitate things. Even if we're like reading a novel, I don't like leaving my novels for students to read, because when I come back, the covers are torn off. It's just like, yeah, I've had very bad experience. And depending on our budget, we don't always get new novels. So I actually keep a lot of the novels, and then some of the novels I purchase with my own money. So I prefer them to do other materials. Like we have Quintero magazines and Soul magazines. I have them do those activities. And I do make sure that I grade it. In fact, this past Friday, I know this is not like the best practice, but I told students that the subwork that I left them, which was a reading from a book, and it was actually on Puerto Rico. So I was happy about that because we're in the unit of Puerto Rico. I told them it would be graded as a formative. Now, it's not going to be a lot of points, but I will bet you my bottom dollar that everybody did the work, because they really are like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a formative grade. So yeah. And then use other available resources. The main thing is not to feel guilty about it. And I just want to reiterate that when you do take off, and this is very, very hard, and this was a challenge for me, so I'm not going to lie. You guys know I try to keep it real. I took off Friday, and I was like, ooh, I can finish working on this. I just got the proof back for my last proof. This is literally last proof for La Vecina Chismosa. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can sit and I can read through that and blah. And I was like, nope, you're not doing that. You are going to rest. You're going to go sit down. You're going to watch the new season of La Envidiosa. And you are going to chill with your Pirates booty and your kettle popcorn. And that is exactly what I did until it was time for me to get ready to go to that school function thing. And by the way, when I was at the school function thing, the assistant principal was like, weren't you out today? I was like, yeah. I was like, okay. Because he had to cover something for me. But I was like, yeah, I took my mental health day, dude. Like, I got the days. What are you going to do? Come at me, bro. But anyway, guys, have a fabulous day. And I really hope, I'm sorry that this was so long, but I just think we need the encouragement. We really need the encouragement, because your life is more important. And a lot of times our mind is telling us one thing and our bodies are telling us another. And because we're very cerebral and like logical people, and we're very passionate about teaching, we a lot of times choose the students, or we think that we're choosing the students. But remember, taking care of yourself is by proxy taking care of your class. Have a great day.